Hey, we're back at the top again today with another type to fix, well, again. Way back when, we went over all the types heading into Generation 7, but really, did I give decent original fixes for them? Probably not. So I feel like we need to remaster the series and get better fixes. This is now the 8th video in this remastered series, so if you missed the others, check the link in the description below. Today's type is none other than the poison type. This type was once the worst type until the fairy type helped it out. And while it's better, it might need some fine adjustments. So with that, it's time to dive in. Let's find out how Pokemon Sword and Shield can fix the poison type. This problem isn't as bad as it once was. I'll give Game Freak credit. This is actually one of the types they have fixed. Before, this type was one of the worst. Only one type it was strong against. But then, it was all revitalized in Generation 6. And even in Generation 7, they introduced Pokemon that you would look at and think, oh no, those are some strong poison types. But in reality, that's just it. Those are only a handful of those Pokemon. So in short, I believe adding to the list of poison types that are recognized as poison types would be a proper fix to this type. That way we don't have a Pokemon that are water types that are also, what was that type? Oh yeah, poison types. That's like saying it's Treadway and friend. Like, that's just insulting to my friend, and I don't want to discredit anything. They should be center stage next to me, just like the poison type. Like I mentioned just a bit ago, the poison type used to be only strong against the grass type for some reason. Yep, only just the grass type, which was awful because this type had no place on teams unless the Pokemon truly was stronger than just its typing. But when the fairy type was released, that gave them the strength they needed. But now, I feel like we have another problem. You know, bulky waters, right? Everyone doesn't like dealing with those guys, and in the past, I've thought about this issue as well. Really, the only type that makes sense in regards to being weak to something is the poison type. Just think about it. Polluted water is a bad thing. Now imagine if a water type got polluted. You think that wouldn't affect them? No, it would 100% affect them. That's why I think this would, should, and could be a decent idea to shuffle up the metagame. Maybe that would make poison types too strong? I have no idea. It's easy to see how scary something could be on paper, but in reality, it might be really weak. We just don't know. The biggest issue in my opinion is the physical side of things. Oh, wait, don't worry, this is not a recycled topic. I'm not saying that there are no good physical poison type Pokemon moves or Pokemon, but there is one problem that I saw with the poison types. That problem is between the moves Poison Jab and Gunk Shot. Now most attacks usually have 5 different varying levels of attacks. You have the weaker 60 base power moves, then 80, then 95, 120, and 150. And most types don't really follow that to a T, but the gap between Poison Jab and Gunk Shot just seems to be very open. 80 to 120 it just doesn't work because it's such a big gap. You can go from a decent attack with 100% accuracy to a strong attack with low accuracy. There's no middle ground. What to do? Well, we'll put our best effort to fix this soon enough, so stay tuned. So I know this is a bit late, and we probably already know a lot more about Pokemon Sword and Shield, but see, I'm trying to get a head start on these videos. In fact, if you truly want to know, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. I'm currently scripting this on August 11th, and I'm actually recording this on August 14th. So you're probably watching this when it was uploaded in September. Point being is we're making some changes, arguably a bit late, but I blame my quote-unquote get ahead mentality that I have right now. We're going to remove one fix for a new regional variant to show off. We'll still keep the benefit edition at the end, and that's what we're going to cover right now. So the poison type already has this added benefit where they cannot get poisoned. And then I thought, what if a Pokemon that was poisoned was trying to attack another poison type? If they are infected with poison, I feel like the poison type Pokemon would be a little bit safer, you know? So let me know what you think of this. If an opposing Pokemon is poisoned, it will do 30% less damage to poison types. Is that good? Broken? Or is it a terrible benefit? So with the introduction to more regional variants, which I'm glad to see is something that Game Freak decided to keep, we'll bring back part of these videos showing off a new potential regional variant to help out Pokemon of the type we are covering. Of course, we are also running something called the Galar Gauntlet. We'll be either highlighting a Pokemon already covered there, or we'll be covering in the future. If you want to be a part of that, go ahead and vote for your favorites in that series. Now then, Arbok. Arbok needs a lot of help. It's one of the worst poison types in the game, but when visiting Galar, it decided to settle into the rocky, desert-like area. This design from Villy C shows what transformation Arbok makes. It gains the ground typing to adapt to its new habitat, and in doing so, it gets a lot of new tools to work with. It retains the abilities of Intimidate and Shed Skin, but it gains a new hidden ability of Sand Rush. With a new 100 base attack, Arbok now becomes a potential threat in the metagame. Or at least I hope. Where do you see this Arbok's usage landing? Since the poison type is actually quite a well-rounded type, I thought we should just work and give it a strong ability. This won't fix anything except for making that strong ability. Now, this ability wouldn't be completely for the poison type, just related to it. So it is known as Detox, and what this ability does is, if a Pokemon with this ability is poisoned, its defenses will be boosted 3 stages. If it gets cured, the next time it's on the field, its speed, attack, and special attack will be boosted by 2 stages. Of course, if it leaves the field, it will lose the boosts. This way, a Pokemon can be potentially lethal if it jumps through all these hoops. Just don't let it set up like this, and you should be good. Today's move will fill a gap that I mentioned earlier, the gap between Poison Jab and Gunk Shot. It's somewhat needed, as a perfectly balanced base power ladder for the physical side of the poison type is quite necessary. That move is Atom Slasher, where the user uses atomic energy to slash you down to your molecular level. This move has a 10% chance to paralyze you. Now, this move being base 95 power would slot itself right between Poison Jab and Gunk Shot. Not only that, but a poison type move with a potential paralyzation. That just makes me shake down to my atoms! Today's Pokemon is something that I've always wanted to see for a new poison type. Yes, we are breaking the rules for this video. I just want a poison and steel type. It's a great typing since poison's weakness of psychic turns neutral, as does steel's fighting type weakness. It would only be weak to fire and ground. Pretty nifty. And seeing this concept from Dr. Crafty, well, it got me thinking. What if this is a poisonous reptile that built up armor? I know it's far-fetched, and it's not the far-fetched we know of, but I feel like this would be a great backstory Pokemon. Its stats wouldn't be too bad, in fact it's actually an odd sight to see. It's a mix of tank and offense, as its offensive stats are all over the place. A base 130 attack, base 50 special attack, and base 95 speed, all the while having base 100 HP, base 80 defense, and base 80 special defense. You'd be wrong to overlook this Pokemon. Having the abilities of Motor Drive due to electricity powering up the armor, Battle Armor since, well, it's armor, so it's hard to crit this Pokemon, and Weak Armor, this Pokemon may or may not be on your radar yet. With the moves of Gunk Shot, Atom Slasher, Iron Head, Wild Charge, and Autotomize, you have a lot to use with this Pokemon. I could see this Pokemon being somewhat useful, not sure where it will land, but it'll be useful in some teams with its resistances. But with that will wrap up the ways we can fix the poison type. If you have any ideas how to fix the poison type, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Best idea gets the toxic pin to the top. Which type should I cover next time? Be sure to pick your favorite, as we are remastering all the types leading up to Pokemon Sword and Shield, so we still have a lot to cover. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to start the climb today. And with that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you back at the top later on, because that's how we do what? You didn't actually think I'd bring back that toxic mobster character, did you? Yep, I've moved past that. I'm not as cheesy as before. You could say the cheese went moldy. Okay, I'll leave now. Cue outro.